They remembered their top priority, poking holes in the sand with their knives and stomping on each one. Suddenly, the sand before them began to sink, and the soldier excitedly called over his comrades. This was, in fact, the oldest method for finding wells in the desert. Having gone 3 days without a single drop of water, they pinned all their hopes for survival on this well. But when they lifted the well cover, they were stunned. There wasn't a drop of water inside. Seeing the despair on his men's faces, the captain picked up a brick and dropped it into the well. But the dull thud from the bottom only deepened their despair. Trapped in the vast, endless Sahara without water, they were left with nothing but to wait for the end. The captain refused to give up. He sent Xiaohei to check the bottom of the well, but found only sand. As he climbed back in despair, he felt the wall was damp. He felt along the wall and found water seeping from a corner. Xiaohei's eyes lit up. He called for a container. His team quickly pulled out their metal boxes. Knowing how precious it was, he didn't waste a single drop. He carefully poured the droplets from his palm into the box. Though small, it was a matter of life and death for the 9 of them. The captain ordered everyone to find more containers. After hours, they finally filled 2 containers with fresh water. Xiaohei warned his team to be careful. They couldn't afford a single mistake. Under eager gazes, the containers were handed to the captain. Knowing everyone was parched, the captain mandated 3 small sips each to ensure a fair share. The soldiers, parched for days, were like drought-stricken weeds receiving rain. Though limited, the water reignited their will to survive. Xiaohei stayed in the well, yet never once took a secret sip. With this supply replenished, the soldiers regained their strength. But the peace didn't last long. One day, the sentry spotted enemy armored vehicles approaching, and everyone immediately prepared for battle. With careful planning, they caught the enemy completely off guard. After capturing 2 enemy soldiers, the captain immediately began interrogating them for intelligence, but it wasn't going to be easy. However, when he noticed the captive's cracked lips, he realized they were just as dehydrated as his men. That gave him a brilliant idea. He poured all their remaining water onto the sand. The parched prisoners could only watch in despair. Thanks to the captain's convincing performance, the prisoners, who had been dehydrated for days, quickly spilled everything. They were just a scout team out looking for water. A main force of over 500 men was marching toward them, but they too had been without water for over a month. Upon learning that the 500-strong enemy force was approaching, the 9-man team wanted to retreat immediately. The well had run dry, and they only had enough water left to sustain them for a short distance. But the captain refused to retreat. He even released their prisoners and told his men they would use the dry well to hold off the enemy. Facing an enemy force of over 500, the men didn't understand the captain's plan, but they decided to stay nonetheless. They laid mines along the enemy's path and set up machine guns at every vantage point. Though they were only 9, every man was on high alert, determined to win the battle. As 500 soldiers approached, the captain waited for them to hit the mines. The 9 men opened fire.